Different setup. Somebody can't hear. I can't hear. Can the rest of you hear? All right, good. Hold on. I want to send some stuff over here so we can look at. This. This. And 1 second, one more thing.
GoDaddy acquiring Point, expanding their commerce services and offline sales, integrated payments. Golf Delta Delta Yankee.
All right, let me mute everything and we'll get rolling. Mute.
Gilead and Galapagos announcing new commercialization and development agreement. Golfing the Lima Delta and GLPG Golfing on Papa Golf.
Mute. And mute. All right. I'm ready. Gotta remember where my mic is. Here it is. Okay. Let me put this over here for now. All right. So how's everybody doing? Yeah, I had to add a couple of screens and I'm dizzy. It'll take me a little bit to get used to it. I had, back in my prime, I had quite a few screens and I didn't like it, but now I needed extra screen. I didn't have enough real estate. It takes me like 4 hours to find my mouse, Extra screen. Good call. All right, let's get started here. We'll start. Yeah, I'm just getting old. You're right. That's exactly it. He was saying me adding screens is probably a sign of the top, North. All right, so let's get rolling here. Let's talk about the market. We don't have to go over everything again that we've been talking about, but I mean, this is basically, what we were kind of looking for, right? We don't know the exacts. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball, but we kind of figured coming into this week, they cooled off enough short-term sentiment where we had a little bit of wiggle room to, for some upside, right? In the indices I'm talking about now. The other thing too, more importantly, we got the Fed tomorrow, and who in their right mind would aggressively get short ahead of the Fed? You know what I mean? So it's unlikely, it would have been really unlikely, barring any event or anything that popped up, to be a catalyst for some aggressive selling pressure, okay? We were, at one point today, the indices looked horrible, but underneath the hood, and we've been using that term quite often these days, breadth was spectacular. And, for those of you in the room, right, in private Twitter, the flow was remarkable, okay? Again, it's been like a stock picker's theme out there with constant rotation, but they've been finding new stuff, especially speculative names and stuff like that, to play some new bets, right? Fresh bets on, rather than hitting the same big tech names, old familiar names that everybody and their mother just keep, you keep climbing the ladder, buying, selling the same names over and over. Those names have lagged, right? I mean, up until today where Apple busted out, You had Apple's been lagging, Amazon's been lagging, Nvidia's been lagging, Facebook's been lagging. This market's really been about the individual names post-election. Okay, that's where all the sizzle is. All right, so now again, we got to face the facts here. We already know there's way too many bulls out there. Okay, could there be more? Without a doubt, right? Like one particular area, the hedge fund positioning, it's not nowhere near hot. Okay, so there's some room on a few things, but overall, big picture wise, when you see as many bulls as we're seeing now in the neighborhood, there's usually some sort of gut check. Again, the timing is the difficult part, right? And without the timing, you're not going to be able to short it, right? The only thing you can do is be aware of your risk, right? Play a little more conservative, be cautious, but still look to take advantage of whatever alpha is out there, especially if it's in the individual names, because they can outperform the market. They can hold up better at the start of a pull, right? So there's a few benefits to that. All right. So tomorrow we have basically the first event that could be a catalyst for some selling, right? If you have, it's not likely, nobody's expecting it, all right, but there is a possibility, right? If you have some sort of change in just a little language, or Powell sounds a little more hawkish and he's concerned about equity prices or anything to that effect, right? Where they think that Powell might be a little more aggressive in taking back some of the stimulus now that the vaccine's out, you could, without a doubt, trigger some selling. Okay, and that could be the start of a gut check. We don't know. So, but we have to be aware of that, and we have to see how that, how things pan out post-Fed. Everyone's expecting Powell to be as dovish as ever, without even thinking about what's the line he used. I'm not even thinking about raising rates. All right, and if that's the case, it might open up a green light into, for the rest of the month, which is only a couple of weeks, and the next potential catalyst for a little selling pressure would be end of year rebalancing towards the end of the year. All right. Then you got, something a little more concerning that can possibly be a trigger. You have the Georgia runoffs in January, right? The threat of a blue wave that could obviously create some initial selling pressure, but even that, I don't see that translating into anything more than the gut check anyway. You just might get some money moving around, So it is what it is. But let's take a look at I did this again. The pros and cons here. Well, not the pros and cons, but what's hot, what's not, and what has room as far as sentiment's concerned. So you can see what I'm talking about here, and you don't have to take my word for it. No, hold on. We'll go over some names because the names, if you play names now, it's been incredible. Oh, this is what we look at on every webinar. The timing is perfect. All right. So here are these Goldman risk on. This is out of Goldman Sachs. Risk on, risk off sentiment indicators. Right. And what you want to pay attention to is the dark blue diamond here. Okay. That's the current signal. Light blue is 3 months ago, orange a month ago. All right. And if you see these dark blue diamonds, each and every time we meet on Wednesday, right, they get closer and closer to the right. A lot of these short-term readings have been bumping up against here for the most part for a little bit now, right? So you have all this over here. Okay. And, you got a couple of these things that have been lagging. These, right, the CTFC positioning and CTAs, they were over here. Now they're pretty much neutral. All right, so you have a few things that have room. All right, but we have a lot of bulls. All right. And again, that's usually what we see what you see when you want to be wary of a gut check. Okay. And that's what we're seeing here now. All right. I also have, I told my boy I want this every week. I don't know if it's an every week thing. This is at JP Morgan. All right. And I get this question a lot too. And not only question, statement. Um, well, your hedge fund indicator is wrong because Goldman's saying hedge fund buying is maxed out. Every firm is different, right? Every firm has different clients. All right. So that was Goldman's take on their clientele. And this is JP Morgan's, right? JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley, one or the other. JP Morgan, I think it is. All right. So you see down here, JP Morgan, right? Their prime positioning, so their professional money, they're all in, right? And here you got like investor sentiment has some room, a little bit of room. And the CTAs and stuff, they have some room. All right, so similar picture, just a little different read from two different firms. All right, here's a couple things we've been paying attention to in the steam room. We've been watching really closely. Okay, this is the hedge fund reading we pay attention to. And this has been telling a different picture, right? While everybody is bullish, and you could see this, I could see this. This is not an unrealistic reading because we look at the hedge funds like they're the dumb money. They're not dumb money. Some of them, they're the sharpest guys on the street, okay? It's when they're all on one side of the fence where usually things don't pan out. That's just the way the market works, okay? So what you got here, because the likelihood is because of so much optimism out there off the vaccine, right? And just the general investor feeling more positive about things, okay? You have hedge funds trying to get cute here, like many of us, okay? Thinking things are a bit too optimistic. Let's see if we can get a pull and get a better entry, right? Like a lot of us want. That's what this is telling us out of hedge funds. All right. So they're trying to be tactical about things. And rather than chase, right, they usually chase the highs into the year end. They've taken a different approach. Okay. So they're trying to get cute and they're waiting for a pullback rather than chase. Now, why is that? Why is that looked at in a positive way from us? Because if the market does have some sort of little gut check or pullback, what are hedge funds likely to be? Buyers or sellers off that pullback from here? Buyers, right? They don't have much supply to sell. They're not all in. All right, so that's why we look at it in a positive way, okay? Because they have, if they do get that pullback, which they're probably looking for, that would be the entry that they were looking for, okay? The other positive out of it is if there is some sort of trigger to sell, okay? Let's say tomorrow Powell does sound a little more hawkish than we were expecting, okay? And you get a sell-off, okay? You don't have hedge funds now all in like you did pre-virus back in February that need to get out of all their positions. They're light. As a matter of fact, they were just net short as a whole there. Okay, so the likelihood is that sell-off, even though there's a major catalyst, you're not going to have that hedge fund margin call crap and all that stuff to add to the whoosh. So the selling might not be as vicious and dramatic as if it would be if they were all in. All right, so that's why we look at this as in a positive way. And another aspect of it It's not a guarantee. We haven't seen it yet, right? But if they do decide, this rally's getting away from me, I can't wait for a pullback anymore, I might not get it, and they have to chase, they're going to have an impact on the market. They move around big money. Okay? So that's why this is what we look at in the positive. This is one of the few positive things out here on a sentiment basis, on a positioning basis. All right. And this is why we've been keeping a close eye on it. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Bova Bull Bear indicator would be in sell range if the hedge funds on their end were all in. I know their private investors are all in, but I think the hedge funds are the missing link that aren't all in yet. Otherwise, the Bova Bull Bear indicator, which has a little bit of room, that also would be in sell land. All right. So, couple things left before everybody's technically in the pool. But, like we've been discussing, I don't think you go out guns blazing, right? Tripping over yourself, waiting for, the two other readings to light up. Because, like I said, throughout my experience, a gut check is a common thing just based off what we're seeing right now. It's just a matter of when it's going to come. Is there enough? Is there something that can trigger enough selling to get, an 8 to 10% pullback before the year end, or does it come in January? One or the other. That's the likely of the two scenarios. There's going to be a gut check. And if you look here, this market has done a damn good job of just holding together while stuff underneath the hood, right, has been consolidating nicely. Like, look at this market, right? You had a little brief. It's not like this market's just euphorically going up every single day in a non-constructive manner. It's been doing its thing. And if you look at like individual names, you got pockets of heat like in SPAC land and alternative energy, right? But there's a lot of healthy looking stuff out there too. So we'll see how it all plays out. In the meantime, what I've been doing and what a lot of team room members have been doing as well, we've been trying to focus on individual names rather than the actual indices here. And why? Because the indices are going to go up in a more sluggish manner, right? There's not as much alpha in the indices, and it doesn't create enough of a risk reward picture, right? With the risk of a gut check overhang, there's not enough risk reward for it to be even worth it for us to stick our necks out. Okay. But in individual names, where two things. One, you can catch a really big move if you want to be a little patient and take on more risk, or with as little risk as possible, you can catch a quick move and take that off the table. It's been incredible. It's been incredible. All right, and we'll talk about a bunch of names. Now, what we want to avoid doing, and it's easier said than done, and I know it's going to go in one ear and out the other ear, is, people are going to turn on the machines tomorrow morning, see green, and they're just going to buy anything that's green. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. But the way to avoid getting caught in some exhaustion or reversals is waiting for decent setups, action at a solid spot that hasn't been up 7 straight days in a row, or waiting for that one morning where you get some selling in a hot name, right? and you see some sweeper activity there, and that's where you find an entry to sell it into strength that day, the next day, or the day after. Right? That's where I think right now the best juices. And I'm trying to think of a better word for it. The biggest edges. Okay, it's anytime you get weakness, right? You get a little red tape in the morning or a fade in the afternoon, and you see some sweeper activity in a name that's been strong as hell. That's been a incredible entry for any tactical trade. You know, there's so much momentum there. There's so much momentum there. You know, and as these names get longer in the tooth, you want to try to avoid them because, you know, you're going to have less of an edge after these things have caught enough flow and they continue higher. All right. And the other thing we want to do is we want to focus on where the sweeper activity is most aggressive. You know, again, Apple, Facebook, you know, they have their days, right? But if you're not involved in them that day, you're going to be doing a lot of sitting around, right? Up to this point. Now, do you want to sit around? Right? I don't. A lot of us don't. We want to keep the chains moving. We want to play off the momentum. Okay. And what people are finding an issue with because they're so used to trading the same names over and over and over again, because that's where the juice has been, you know, they're having trouble paying any attention to all the other flow out there, or can't take advantage of the other flow out there, and are missing the biggest part of this rally. The biggest part of this rally. All right. Does anybody have any questions on, you know, anything we're seeing right now or strategy? We're going to go into names in a second, so save your names. But anybody have any questions on anything? Well, a lot of all these sentiment indicators, for the most part, what it is, it measures sentiment extreme. So when bullish sentiment is at an extreme, that's going to be a red signal or a caution signal, right? And when sentiment is extremely bearish, when everyone's bearish, that's where you want to, you know, look for entries with time because the risk reward is in your favor. You understand? See, here's the thing, and people don't understand. Like, this market right now is strong as hell, and there are names out there strong as hell, okay? And sentiment's hot, okay? But that doesn't mean that you can't participate in the upside. What that means is if you're going to buy something and hold it into next year, now is not a good time on a risk reward basis. Why? Because the market may go up for the next week or the next 2 weeks. All right. But the probability of the market being higher 2 months out without some sort of pullback is low. All right. There's a higher probability of a pullback in that time frame based on sentiment. So you understand there? Like, people look at sentiment, you know, just as a gauge and a dominant, and don't understand what it's really telling us. Right? That's why we've been using that T word, you know, way too often, tactical. Okay, because when sentiment's hot like it is now, doesn't mean the market has to stop going higher. Right? It's not a crystal ball, but it's saying you want to be quicker to take profits. You want to be holding less positions all at once. You know, so you don't get caught in that inevitable pullback when it shows up. Right? Where the opposite, when you have sentiment on your side, you want to leg into positions, into weakness with time. Okay? Because the market could go down the next day or the next week, but the probability is high that the market 2-3 months out, you're going to get rewarded. It's going to be higher. Okay, that's that's sentiment, right? So if you have no interest in a market outlook, 1 to 3 months out, let's say, then you shouldn't look at 3/4 of the indicators that people and myself look at. Right? If you're a member, the only indicators you should be paying attention to is tactical sentiment and the squeezometer. That's it. That's the only sentiment indicators that should interest you if you don't build positions. You don't swing positions for months. That's the only thing. Because what hot sentiment doesn't mean anything to you, right? If you're holding for a week, what does it mean? Zero. So you got to understand what sentiment's telling us, and that's what sentiment's telling us right now. All right. Anybody else have any other questions about that before we hit up some names? All right. Here's a couple other things too I threw on here. So we got. Oh, I did this. I did that. Oh, and this tells it all right now. Oh, I even got a better chart we looked at on the Sunday webinar. Hold on. I posted on my private Twitter. We looked at it on Sunday. Okay, and this is big picture as well. That the likely scenario is just a gut check and nothing more, unless something dramatically changes on the Fed's end. Hold on, how am I going to find this? I'm not going to take too much time here. I'm hoping to find it pretty quick here. Hold on. But some of you enjoy this. Where is it? Oh boy, oh boy. Never find these things when you want them. I got it. So you see that? All right. The gold bar is QE announced. The green is QE expanded, and the orange is QE ends. And if you overlay a nice S&P chart or anything like that, you could see what a lot of people are at the point now where they say the only thing that matters is the Fed. The correction. Well, think about this, okay? Here, the market was in a huge range. We were range bound, right? For a good portion of this. You had the 2015-16 corrections. You had the end of 2018, which was a debacle, where the Fed was looking to tighten and raise the rates, right? So during this period where QE ended and the Fed was trying to adjust interest rates and tighten, the market found a tough time. Again, there were opportunities on the long side. You had to wait for those gut checks, because if you bought new highs, you got destroyed. Okay, but so this was where you could be bearish and maybe make some money and get away with it. But when this and this were in the picture, dips were all opportunities. When the printing machines are on, dips, you look to buy. All right? So the last one we had here was 2013, and then expanded right after that, and we had the big move. All right, and then 2000 post 2008, and then look at this recently. Makes that look like peanuts. This whole expansion here, this makes it look like peanuts. And that's why you got a spec appetite out there like few have seen. All about the Fed. So we'll see what they talk about tomorrow. Should be status quo. And if that's the case, yeah, a little pullback probably be an opportunity. And here's, liquidity, money supply, just crazy stuff we've never seen before. All right. And, the rotation, right? Everybody's been talking about the rotation. This is the post 2008 playbook, QE playbook. The money, when liquidity is flush like it is now, money doesn't come out of the market. Markets, it's always moving around. So maybe they're not buying the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, but they buy gold and Bitcoin, right? If they're not buying gold and Bitcoin, they're buying technology and SPACs. You understand? The money's always finding a place to go. Exactly. Everywhere but bonds, because there's no interest in bonds, because what's the reason to buy bonds? They're trying to smoke people out of bonds. So that's why we're seeing a spec appetite out there that's unquenchable. Is that a word? Unquenchable? Thirst, unquenchable. Maybe I just made the word. But anyway, so let's look at, and what we're seeing now is we haven't seen. I tell you guys my old man rocking chair stories of 2001 to 2004, in that range of a rally in small caps that you guys probably used to laugh to yourselves and say, what the hell is he talking about? Small caps are a disaster. A rally in small caps. But that's the last time I've seen anything. Like people are talking about 1999. If anything, this looks like 2000 more than 1999. 2001. And the reason is this. Look at this. Why we want to focus on individual names? Because you're involved in this. You're involved in this instead of, this. That's the difference. Why do you want to buy underbelly names instead of Facebook and Fang and the whole 9 yards? Why do you want to focus on underbelly names? Again, those names are going to have days. They're going to have days. They're not falling out of bed. But it's going to look more like this, right? Where all the aggressive money has been moving into this. And this has been a dead dog for a long, long time. And God forbid this continues after we get a gut check. Oh, boy, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you know what the beauty of this is that when the markets consolidate, the major indices, the S&P 500, tech, when on days they do nothing, are down a little bit, and the average guy thinks it's a dead day, a premium burn day, a theta burn day, that's when these things do best. That's when these names catch fire. Why? Because any hot momentum money that's been focused on some of the larger caps on days that they were doing well, on days they're not doing anything, are going to come rushing into this. And that's why we're seeing names from little tiny, right, stocks like this Mara today, right, or NVIS today. Look at this. All right, to legitimate names, just underbelly names. You know what I mean? Underbelly names that not everybody and their mother know about and are in already. The retail investor had it made. They could buy Amazon and Intel, Amazon and Apple, and if the market went up, they made money. It's been different now. You know? And the sweepers can provide an edge now because it's a stock picker's market. And there are names like this all over the yard. But if we get a gut check, okay, so we get that flush out of the pitcher, and off that flush, you got new money that comes in, right? Buyers now looking to get long again. You're going to see a whole new batch of names for that next leg up. You know what I mean? Like everything, not everything, but for the most part, names look like this, even rotation names. You know, they've been rocking post-election. Whatever happened at that election got money to actually physically make a big move, right? Rotate in a big way, whatever it was. So they all had that burst higher, right? Some things are starting to breathe a little bit out there now. Okay, once you get that gut check, the majority of stuff will take a breather, and then you're going to have a new batch of leaders that come out of it. And that's why that gut check is so important, not only to avoid, but to have the bullets to fire when they start buying things, whatever it may be. I don't know, you know, there's no way of knowing. And it depends on what indice, right? So what, a 10% pullback on SPX, you know, certainly possible. You know, SPX doesn't even look overheated to me, right? It's small caps that all the heat's been in. Like, this looks healthy to me. Bova had a great note yesterday. The biggest fear out there, so basically the most bearish thing out there, right? The biggest fear out there is no fear itself. You understand? The biggest fear out there right now is complacency because of the vaccine and all. That's the risk. Everything else look as healthy as an ox. You know, and granted, yeah, SPACs are hot. I think they're going to get their ass kicked. You know, I don't know when, obviously. If I knew that, I wouldn't be talking to you guys. But that's like Bitcoin-ish first go-around SPACs. You know, it's been easy money. You print your own money there. Guys like me who've been selling quick on those look like a moron. But, you know, the rest of the market as a whole, like some underbelly names, rotation names, they've been doing their thing in a healthy way. So we'll see. The punch in the jaw, you think it's coming or it's not coming? Because too many people are looking for it, you're saying. Yeah. I definitely agree. I agree. I think too many people are focused on sentiment and want to pull back. You know what I mean? So usually it doesn't come. You know, at the most you get sideways chop and stuff like that. But we'll take sideways chop. We'll take it because there's going to be still money to be made throughout that process. You know, I'm not too, like, sideways chop is okay because individual names will outperform if they're still buying. But, you know, if you remember, I don't think there's as much heat as January of, what was it, 2017? That was, where was that VIX? Here. Right? No, that's not it. Where the hell was that VIX thing? Oh, back here. Here it is. I got it. So this is what happened at the end of 2017 that people are comparing this to. You had a whole different ball game here. Okay. You here had the same names going up. You didn't have nowhere near the breadth we're seeing now. Nowhere near the sweeper activity we're seeing now. You had players shorting VIX like it will never go up again in its life. That's not going on now. That was the reason this happened. Everybody and their mother was short VIX to their eyeballs. You know what I mean? So you can't compare this to what we're seeing now. And look, not only that, look at the velocity of the rally here. Look at this. This is a melt up chase, euphoric debacle. That's not what we're seeing now. You know, that's not what we're seeing now. And again, this, like, we don't count this because that election screwed us. But this was extremely constructive, right? You may have wanted more than a pullback. Maybe you were hoping, like myself, that after the election there'd be a little more selling so you could get in. But that's why they ran it away from us. But this tested the lows, and I mean, that's picture perfect, no? And, you know, this extension from here, this was hot, little breather, no sellers, and this has been constructive so far out of here. So it doesn't look like that thing we just looked at, the explosion. Doesn't look like that. So we'll see. We got some time to January, if that's what you guys are thinking. And if things heat up a little bit more, it may look like that. You know, it may look like that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, let's talk about some names. And then I'll let you guys go enjoy your dinner. Hold on. Let me rattle off a couple to you that... Oh, you know what? Before we do that, let's look at some new action today. How about that? All right. I got to update this top bet list, so there'll be another one coming out for those of you who are Steam Room members. There were a couple of bets after this. Okay, this is the one I posted in the middle of the day. This STM, they tattooed it again. They tattooed this thing on every dip, and they tattooed it off a pullback. I don't know what the pullback, what was the pullback here? Anybody know? You know? Now, it was due for some sort of pause because this was getting ridiculous. But you get a gap down for whatever reason, and buyers are stepping in. Poor sales, buyers are stepping in a big way, buying this up. All right. And this name, I don't know if you guys have played it before, has seen a ton of action. You don't necessarily have to chase it yet. In other words, you can try to find an entry off weakness. You know, it's an ADR, and, you know, look how it trades. Okay, they bought every dip in this thing, every dip, including off the virus. So you may get this thing hang around here a little bit, you know, come back down to 35, 34-ish. But then once it heats up, you can see how it doesn't take long for this thing to push higher. These days, this used to be slow as hell, this stock, where I wouldn't even trade it off low. But these days, sweepers have been making a killing off this. All right, so you got, this is only some of the action there today. They bombarded it, STM. WDC has made the top bet list a couple times. I threw it on there again today because I know you guys have an interest. Some of you are in it. Yeah, I couldn't get myself to buy this thing because it was extended and it just keeps going. So I'm not in it, unfortunately. But this is playing catch up to Micron, and it's got some catching up to do. You know, look at Micron. Oh. So WDC, if you compare it to that, has more upside without a doubt. You know, see if you could get a down day even on it for an entry. But they hit it today. It wasn't up too much and then got strong throughout the day. Baidu, I threw this on there based off the order, but you got December calls that lead open interest. And the likelihood is this replaces that. You understand? Those calls are going to expire worthless Friday. So whoever's in them still wants exposure to Baidu, and they opened March calls today in a big way. And yeah, the stock exploded off news. Baidu, as many of you know, has had flow, right? Has had several sweeps. Has been a great name. All right, so because I know I was going to get asked about it, I threw it on here so I could talk about it. IIVI, another good-looking sweep. This name is just, for an underbelly name, you got good-looking action in this thing. Again, for me, too stretched, right? I can't. But it was oh my God. You're talking about a major breakout here, major. So I've been throwing these names on here. I don't like to usually put on the top bet list names, repeat names, or names that are up big, you know what I mean? But if we do get a gut check, these are the names you want to keep an eye on. So you want to remember these orders. CRM, I've been getting a lot of questions on this one. If you are interested in sitting or building a position in CRM, right? They hit May calls today. That's a good amount of time. All right. If you're interested in buying and building a position here and not worrying about what the stock is going to do tomorrow, if you're going to buy CRM off May sweep, and if the stock goes nowhere in 2 days, you're going to stop yourself out. There are a million other stocks catching action that you can trade for 2 days. This is not what, you know what I mean? CRM is made for. Now, it doesn't have to take till May, all right? But you might have to, there's a good chance you're going to be sitting in it for a little bit, Like Apple made the top bet list, right? And we were saying the same thing. And it doesn't mean you're going to sit in it for 6 months, but you're not going to see the momentum you're seeing in all the other stuff out there, right? Apple looked great. There was nothing wrong with it. And you get a pop today, right? A couple weeks later. Same thing with like AMD. I heard people complaining about AMD. How do you complain about AMD? You want AMD to do what a SPAC is doing? It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. I'm impressed. These things are still going the way they go. A lot of these tech names, they're seeing money come out of them and they're still constructive. So if you're looking to play tactically, if you're looking to be quick, some of these names aren't the candidates for that. Right? They're a different type of play. All right. But I'll tell you what, like CRM, if you get a gut check, this CRM there's a possibility it may not go down as much as the hot stuff out there. It may actually hold its own because it already got whacked. That's the difference. So understand what you're looking to do here. Me, I'm playing the equity and I'm looking to be quick. So like CRM is not a catalyst for that. If CRM tomorrow they come in and they start multiple sweeping front month, then it's a different story. You know what I mean? But obviously somebody's legging into CRM with time. That's obvious. This room, I caught it again today and I sold it. I don't know. I mean, I should hold on to it at some point, but it's been an unbelievable day trade on the equity, especially. So VRM, just so you guys are aware, and especially in the Steam room or on private Twitter, you guys know I'm not arrogant. I don't know shit. But if you're a member of the Steam room, forget the tote board, forget the alerts. It's the commentary. You're the reason why you're a member, right? You have me digging into the flow and telling you if there's something interesting going on, or if it's a roll, if it's tied to stock, or if it's this shit or that shit, right? So if you're not paying attention to the commentary, you're missing the whole point to this. So this is what happened 9:58, okay? Positive analyst loadout this morning, VRM. We've been talking about VRM, right? Several of us have been playing VRM constantly every time it catches a sweep. Every time. Sometimes even without sweeper activity. There's been sweeper activity. If the price action looks perky, we look to get in for a squeeze, okay? So you got positive analyst note. There was a big note out on it this morning, which I posted, right? I posted again after this tweet. That was a little before 10. And then lo and behold, right? Well, who comes in? Mr. Sweeper comes in and sweeps it up at 10:06. Sweeper's probably in the room somewhere. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. So you got this. Let me put up a 1 minute. We'll probably show it better. Right? So I mentioned it here. And then you can see where the sweep came in. Right? And then that's it. That's been the trade on VRM. Now, a lot of us think this thing is going to squeeze more. You know, a lot of us think, I think just in general, these laggards are probably going to squeeze more. You know, this thing's just trying to find a bottom here. Right? The sweeper activity hasn't been anything spectacular. It's been decent, but nothing spectacular, but enough to get it going. But, you know, each and every time I day traded it, it's moved. So I take it off the table. You know, I take it off the table. Can I see more? Of course I can see more, but think about the risk I had today, right? I was eyeing VRM off that note this morning based off me playing it in prior action, right? So I read the note, it gasses it up this morning. So now I got my eyeballs on it. The likelihood is I'm going to play it today just to get in, even without a sweep, because worst case scenario, sits there and does nothing. So I take a scratch, right? Then they hit it in a decent way, okay? Worst case scenario, VRM does nothing today, right? I probably end up holding it anyway, but does nothing today if I wanted no risk, right? If it just sits there, I sell it and that's my loser. Okay? Think about the difference between that and chasing a stock off a sweep that's already hot, right? Could have a nasty reversal. It's been up 6 straight days, right? Where are you going to put your stop? You don't know. That's where I'm lost on these things. Like WDC. I don't know how to control that at this point. But this, like, for what I'm looking to do right now, take advantage of the juice with as little risk as possible, this was picture perfect. Picture perfect. You know, that's the epitome for what I'm looking for right now. And then VRM, you know, had some put selling and, make a long story short, did her thing. What am I getting other people's tweets on here? Fucking Twitter. What else we got? Here's the Apple sweeps from this morning. There were Apple. You don't even want to know. It was like 3 million calls traded today. Apple. Insanity. You want to see something crazy? Look at this. What time was this anyway? This was at 2:30. Look at it. Crazy. 230. Over 2 million calls traded. 8 million shares equivalency. Nuts. A lot of action. But I'll tell you, like today it was heat, right? And it came into some strength. The sweeps, if you were going to play Apple, again, you would have had to sit in it for like a week or two. But if you were going to play Apple, this was the bet to play it off of. Hold on. Where it made the top bet list. It might not even be on here, will it? December 9th. It's got to be around here. Oh, where am I going here? Let me see. I'm not talking about the spec action. I'm talking about, God, how am I going to find it? Is this it? This might be it, right? I think this might be it. Yeah, this might be it. That's it. December 9th. It caught a couple of those, made the top bet list that day. That was the day, Peter? I threw it on the top bet list, is it? Ah, okay, cool. So it was in this little breather here, right? Yeah. Anyway, you know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong. Again, it's not a move like SPAC, but it's not a SPAC. You know? It's not a SPAC. All right, but Apple obviously crazy action today. Let's see. Oh, you know what other names caught action today? That tech. A lot of you played that the first go around. Did you see this move on tech? Just in general? Look at this. Made it all the way back. Look at this. Not yet. Not all. Now you keep scrolling back. Look at these. Creeper. This in Freeport. But some more action today off a little bit of a breather, right? This is what it did over here too. There's no sellers in these things at all right now. This is zinc. Zinc. FCX is copper. But it moves with copper, you're right. It moves with Freeport. But if I'm not mistaken, this is zinc, I think. Yeah, right? FCX. When I had a shitload of FCX, when was that? Last year? It couldn't do that when I had it, right? Look at this. You got to be kidding me. Wow. You got to watch these off pullbacks now. There's not too many pullbacks in these things. But if we do get a gut check and you get a pullback, these are the names we got to watch. Because right now, there's just no sellers in any of these things. Here's an underbelly name they've been hitting recently. INFN. I know nothing about it. Just looks like an underbelly, what is it? Semi? Optics. Fiber optics, huh, Charlie? INFN. So caught some more action today. Here's another underbelly chip play, SIMO. Caught a little bit of play today. Silicon Motion. I saw this one before. Vertically integrated manufacturer of wavelength division of telecommunication service provider. Are these 5G plays, Charlie? What are they? Is that what the hype is? Or yeah. Yep. There's been a lot of these underbelly names. TSEM. There's just been a lot of these names. What else we got on here? And then I'll go to your names here. This thing got hot today too. Look at that. Close at the highs. This thing here used to be a piece of garbage, didn't it? Now this thing is real, you telling me? if last time I heard, this thing had a ginormous short position in it. But that was a while ago. I don't know now. Turtle Beach. Yeah. It's looking pretty healthy. Look at this. These are underbelly plays, man. These are the underbelly plays. Some bigger than others, some thinner, but they're all underbelly plays. All right, so let's go through even some recent names here. I see you guys throwing some names out there, right? So you got this name. I'm in some equity here. I'm willing to sit a little bit in this just because I like it. I probably should have just bought the calls. It's a July bull risk reversal in this DT, but I just really like this stock. I really like this stock. This is more of software type thing. It just hasn't got hot yet. And you got a July risk reversal, so you have some time, but the bull risk reversals have been money, absolute money. Speaking of bull risk reversal, I was holding on to a little of this, and I sold it today. Probably goes higher. Smith & Wesson, anybody catch that off the heat? Nice, Ani. You're in Smith & Wesson? 16. Nice. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Sold half. That's what I probably should have done. Looks good. Yeah, I've been, if I get the pop pretty quick, I've been selling it. You know what it is too? I don't want to hold, I'm playing equity even worse. I don't want to hold too much at once. I'm quote unquote keeping the chains moving. So when I get a pop, I take it. And then sometimes if it don't go, I can replay it. A couple of names I've been playing a few times. Some of them run away, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. So that one popped today. What else we got here? I got on my screen here. DT I mentioned. You got a couple of small ones catching small unusual activity. You guys might be interested in. MRVI, I know nothing about this. I think this might be biotech or something. But what I like is it's an IPO. And somebody, Little Sweeps, keeps poking away at it. MRVI. Last couple of days, they've been sweeping. It looks like a Kathy name, right? Looks like a Kathy name. But keep it on your screen. Maybe you guys can dig up some sizzle, right? See what you can find out. Let me know. MRVI. Bonzo, we spoke about. Not Bonzo, MNSO. They've been buying this thing. This is a Chinese name, so I was a little leery on the China aspect of things, right? But Tencent has a big stake in these guys. All right, so there's been some unusual buying here. A lot of unusual buying. Arlo, this thing had a nice move, equity-wise, percentage-wise. ARLO. You guys remember, caught a sweep, then a halt, reversed, and then they swept it again. They give you two chances at this thing. Arlo. Some takeout chatter over there. Chowder. All right, so I wouldn't chase that now. Maybe you get a dip. What else we got? What names are you guys throwing out there? IPOB. I'd be a little careful with these things now. If you're in it, I don't blame you for holding it. But I just be careful chasing up these things. They're getting a little... The music's still playing there. It hasn't stopped. But, there's a lot of speculative heat in these things. You know what I mean? And think about it. This is when you get sloppy, right? And including me. Like here was where the sweeper activity really started to heat up, right? Perfect spot. Okay. Then you had a nice pop, had a dip. You know, quite a few of us kept playing this thing because of the whole polyalpatia and all the sizzle behind it. You know, you get sloppy. Now here, I mean, come on. You know, you're talking 17, 18, and now it's 27, 28. So wait for a wash. If you're not in it already, wait for a wash. You know, but there's been between this one, FEAC, you know, just tons of action, nonstop buying. QS, even before it was QS. Like, look at this move. I mean, this is nuts. No? This is nuts. I don't even know what these companies are. So it's a little long in the tooth. A little long in the tooth. What names you guys throwing on? Elon, that was a nice one-day trade, huh? Boom, boom. Right? Yesterday, spec players, Decembers, they were looking for a move in a couple of days. You get it the next day. I think they raised their guidance or did some shit today. They did something today. But anyway, really nice move. Some more action there in this Elon into the strength. What names you? CCJ's Monster. Uranium, right, Charlie? God. Really started to move here, huh? Yeah, that's a 40% move on the equity. That's a big move for this thing. That's a big move. We're going to bust out in a big way, right? That's why I'm so interested to see what they look like off a pullback, Charlie. All these names, you know, because they would squeeze and that's it, right? They go right back to shorting these things. It may be different this go around, right? You may get a pullback and people look to buy that dip. Yep. So it's worth keeping all these things on your screen, even if they're extended, to watch for pullbacks here. What other names? Yeah, RKT had a little move. Usually it makes a little move and then falls apart. So I always day trade it, but it looks good. Looks okay, I should say. You know, I told you the one worry I have with this is, like, you see housing, because of rates creeping up, like housing's been acting different, these home builders and stuff. This is kind of a rate play. So it's the only thing that would worry me about it, just getting stuck here. But usually moves off action for a little bit. So we'll see. RVLV, today was payday if you got in off that bull risk reversal. Beauty. Look at beauty. No? This was a beauty. Who mentioned that? Cal. You know, if you were me, you'd probably try to milk this for as long as you possibly can. You know, it depends what you're looking to do here, you know? It depends what you're looking to do. But if you're looking to be tactical, you want to take some or roll or whatever you're in. But just beautiful. This is a risk reversal play, right? I think this is a risk reversal play. Yeah, Tim. I think this is a risk reversal play. This is a good one. Bull riskies. Yeah, I just buy the calls when I see a risk reversal or the equity, depending on what I'm doing. But I don't sell puts. UPWK caught a little more play today. Nobody talks about this name and, you know, catches action, does its thing. Is there anything worth knowing about these guys, UPWK? I know sweepers get paid on it. I know that one, FVRR. Yeah, this UPWK is a good stock. Catches a decent amount of action. FVRR. Yeah, FVRR. Is that thing still rocking? Wow. Wow. That's what I have to say about that. Voozy. It catches flow, but never catches enough to get me geared up on it. But it looks interesting, right? There's been flow there. Voozy. They were at a conference. PSTG, I'm still hanging in there. I'm trying to hang in there. I think I only got another day or so. I think I only got another day or so. I'm trying my hardest. I almost sold it today. If I was going to hold on to one of the names I sold today, I was going to sell PSTG. But I'm trying my best. I'll let you know when I sell it because it's CLSK all over again. No doubt about it. Don't even worry about it. So you should be pushing me to sell. No doubt about it. I got the same feeling. Same thing. CLSK, I loved it. I'm playing so many different names. You know what I mean? That I can't hold them all. Rat bastards. How funny is it going to be when this thing's like $50 CLSK and then I'm really sick? What happens then? God damn it. But that's you guys aren't running into that problem? Having too many where you're not going to hold everything. Unless you want to get lumped up. If we get run into a pullback at some point. So I got to pick and choose. I mean, I hate that. I hate it. Because if we didn't have all this heat, we could hold on to them. You could hold on to them. You could hold on to them. But yeah, they buy it seems like every pullback they buy this. Every little pullback. I can't play it anymore up here. I know, Ani, I agree. That's what I'm saying, So I'm trying. See, luck is a big part of what I'm doing now, right? I got to get lucky. But listen, I cry a lot. I got lucky a few times. So you know what I mean? I cry when it goes against me. That's just my nature. Not every single thing I play, I'm going to hold it perfectly, right? More than not, it backfires. But if you got lucky a couple times, if you got lucky just one time and it happened to be QS, that's all you need. That's all you need. All you need is to get lucky one time and it to really be rewarding. But what name? This was one of the names. I was ready to sell it. I had this FEAC, and right here, I think it was. Oh, I was ready to sell right before this, right here. And I decided not to, and I got lucky and sold into this pop. You know what I mean? So that one worked out in my favor. So, more than not, they don't work out in your favor. And we cry about them. Blink, these EV names, they're a little tough for me. It looks great. The flow in these things, too, are just how much action in this blink catch. Are you looking to buy it here or you're in it? Like if you're in it, I would sit it. I would hold it if that's what you were looking to do. The flow's been great. But I wouldn't buy it here. You know what I mean? I wouldn't buy it here. That's the only difference. For all these things, some of them actually had decent pullbacks. XPEV, look, had a 9er low here. I don't know if these things are going to, you're telling me they're going to go right back to new highs again? Certainly possible in this market. Oh, big short position in Blink, Havana? Oh my God, really? I'm torturing people, Rick. That's what we do on this webinar, torture. Anybody catch this guy off the tweet? CWH. Malonis is announcing something with Ride. I'll tell you, all in all, this has been a disappointing name. I played it a couple times. It didn't do anything. It's been stuck in this consolidation. And there's been enough flow in it. I wouldn't say any gangbusters compared to some of the action out there, but there's been some flow in it. But it's been stuck. Today had a nice day. All December action today for the most part, early on. Fastly, I think Fastly still has some legs left. We'll see. No action today, really. Nothing there. But there's been action there. So, and here's the thing. You got a little breather here now. So Fastly, we come in tomorrow, you see sweepers off the open. Get ready. This is where you want to play it. You know, you just don't want to chase the big up day or up 2 days. Even for day trades, it'll reverse on your rear end. Ricky, I was thinking the same thing, Ricky. I don't want to scroll too far. See some of the old ones. I'm looking at the more recent ones. They're not too painful. You know? They're not too painful. I'm still holding on to Teva. I'm going to be patient with that. I got March calls. I'm not looking to do much with that. Just hang on to it. This one, I was hoping for some decent action in. I think a few of you are in it already. Off the December sweep. Had a pop today. ARRY. I was waiting to see if I could time it with a day trade and have a cushion. Caught a little sweep today. You got Jans. This looks good. They swept December's. Maybe they'll roll them out. So maybe we'll see some action there, see where they go with it. What else? MSO, I mentioned. BURL caught nice action. This thing moves up and down. I didn't realize how much it moves up and down a day. 2-3% a day. But look how healthy this looks. Nice, right? Got a nice bet too. But you might have to sit. You might have to sit. So that's why, a few of us haven't played it yet. Microsoft, yeah, without a doubt. Like, I would put Microsoft in the Apple camp on that we just looked at those sweeps on December 9th. You know what I mean? Those Microsoft sweeps are going to go on the top bet list when I update it. So that's the equivalent to Apple when it caught action on the 9th. It may hang out here, but if you're willing to hang out a little bit, the sweeps were noteworthy. They were decent sized sweeps. They would go looking at, what was it, February, right? The one line, the heavy line? Yeah. You don't have to hold it into February. You could even play it and see if you could catch a move, over the next week or so. If it doesn't, cut it loose. You could play it like that. But nice spot too. Not a bad spot. Just these things are out of favor. That's why they're nice spots. They're sellers. Believe it or not, they're sellers in these things. They're rotating out of them. So they were crowded. They were crowded. Like, look at NVIDIA. Isn't NVIDIA look like almost identical to this, I think? Let me see. Like, think about this. We were talking, right, for months about how NVIDIA goes up every day and Micron can't get out of its own way. Remember those conversations? NVIDIA goes up every single day. Some of these semiconductors, Micron, WDC, right? Even the other ones like TXN, all those cyclical names. Now, all the money's going to these guys and the underbelly guys. Yeah, well, you and a lot of others. Everybody's do not trade list. Micron. WDC was even worse than Micron. No, I think WDC was worse than Micron. So, that's why they're cyclical. They're in favor now. These are the ones that everybody wants now, right? NVIDIA, everybody owned it. Everybody owns it. Everybody was in it. Look at the move. Look at this. So now they're playing catch up. Look at this. This was the virus, guys. Do you believe this? This was the virus. Look at the move. So now it's just hanging out, and unless you want to trade range and stuff like that, the money's going elsewhere. That's why these things are tough. They're not falling out of bed by no means, right? They're holding up well. But the juice is not there. The juice that used to be there is not there right now. They're taking money out of there and they're going into everything else. They look, think about this. They piled into these names for a decade, literally a decade. They didn't want to know anything else. And now the little guy is getting some interest. The little guy is getting some interest. So yeah, there's a lot of names. Anybody have any other? Yeah, Boeing, this thing's had a hell of a run. You could probably still buy dips and make money in this for the remainder of the year. Boeing. There's buyers all over this thing. All over this thing. This is some ramp, but there's upside too from here. It's just breathing right here. I know. So these are the type of stocks, Boeing, that if you see it down $4 or $5, whatever it is, intraday, and you see a sweep, that's your entry. That's your entry. WKHS, what's that been doing? I haven't looked at that WKHS. Yeah? That was one of the first that was red hot. Oh, wow. Workhorse. Yeah, I haven't looked at this stock in a while. It's caught so much action back here when it was hot. So much. A wedgie. Flavor of the day. I like it, Ani. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. STNG. I want to play this so bad. This thing's got to squeeze. I mean, they picked, today caught some action. It had to be the cheapest round of sweeper activity I've ever seen in my life. The cheapest. Like, if it was anything half decent, I would have played it. It was just so cheap. And you know what it is? I know you guys remember this name. There used to be bombs going off in this name. Now, it might have been the CEO at the time, if you remember. But this thing caught some nice action. And they're buying 10-cent premium crap. But there's been a little action there, and maybe even shorts protecting. So keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. But if it catches some decent sweeper activity, I'm going to take a spin on it. I got to believe there's something like this at least at some point here. You know, I think we're going to get quite a few of these disasters that squeeze into year end. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. And then we had, none of us talk about it because, especially if you're playing the tactical approach, it's not where you want to be, but the financials are catching buying. The financials, there's bull flow. Goldman, some more bull flow today. Wells Fargo, there's legitimate buying in Wells Fargo into next year. I hate the financials. I don't know what I hate more, the financials or oil stocks. Might be oil stocks. I don't know. It's close. But there's flow there, and that's the ultimate rotation play into next year. Bova, Hartnett calling for and all that. He's calling it for in a big way. Financials 2021. Maybe, yeah. Like, look at Wells Fargo. Every other group, every other name is basically back to here. Their February, March highs. Wells Fargo is still over here. You got to have patience, though, right? Who's got the patience? I know. And the airlines, too, and the travel names fit the bill, too. Trip caught another leap bet today. You know what? You guys like to play this name. You know what I would do, honestly, if you liked any of these names? I just buy booking with time. Because if they move, this thing is going to move 10 times the amount for option-wise. Look at booking. It's actually back to the highs. Wow. I didn't even realize that. Booking made it all the way back. Yeah, Trip. Those guys who bought those leaps, Ani, they're going to end up getting paid. In a big way. Where I sold wasn't too bad, though, if you think about it, because look where it was. Back in the summer, I'll probably never have a sell like that again in my life. And now it's over here, look. It's 6-7 months later, so buy it back. It was torture, though. I'm not going to lie to you. That first batch of positions I put on, Trip, Boeing, they were torture, TY. Torture. I wish with all those positions that I bought at the time, I wish I would have bought the software names. You know how easy that would have been? But, it's easy in hindsight now. Yeah, the first batch was, I don't know if BHC was in the first batch. It was McDonald's, Boeing, Trip, Home Depot. That was quick. I sold that in 2 days, I think, Home Depot. Home Depot was a bull risk reversal into the lows. Look at this. Right into this niner. Bull risk reversal. And look, see? I got impeccable memory when it comes to this. Look, 2 days later, see the pop? That's where I sold it. That's where I sold it. Yeah, nice. It's at 300. What? Oh, TD sequential. You're talking about the numbers on the screen? Bull risk reversal. So think of this logic. Ready? We talk about call buyers, right? Aggressive call buyers. So, and that's bullish, right? Somebody who's aggressively buying calls. What about someone who sells puts, takes in that premium, right? He takes in the premium from selling the puts, and instead of pocketing the premium, lets it ride and then some, comes out of pocket to buy calls. 6 today was a bull combo. They sold puts to buy call spreads, Amy. So close, but they also took in premium on the calls. You know? But same idea. But yeah, the bull risk reversals, when they're clean like that, when they sell puts and they end up buying calls with those proceeds and they got to come out of pocket too, you know, for a debit, that's as bullish a play as you're going to get. You know, that's why we get excited when we see them. You know, and honestly, the best ones are with some time behind it because those are the real players, you know? They're making a bet on the actual name on the company. So, you know, that's the best type of flow for position trading is those bull risk reversals. You know, you don't see them as much, and you usually see them into lows. You know, they nail bottoms. The flow out of the steam room. So the flow that goes to private Twitter is from Trade Alert. These alerts here, see? MVIS. I can't believe how hot this thing got today. Right in the morning, too. It got sizzling and another, wow. This is alternative energy, right? Yeah, bull risk reversal, they sell puts and they use those proceeds to buy calls and then some. Usually they come out of pocket. You know, so recently, like I'll give you some of the examples. We had MGNI, that was a bull risk reversal. RVLV, that was a bull risk reversal. What was another? This DT was a bull risk reversal. Yep. There were quite a few of them recently. ZM, that's not a bull risk reversal. There was, today the put seller. It looked like a put seller. I'm not sure. But ZM caught some size January buying on Friday. Zoom. What do you mean? How do I know it's a bull risk reversal? Because I see the order come in. The order comes in as a spread. He sells puts, or she, and he buys calls. ZI? Why? It's been moving? And just sitting there doing nothing, huh? Doesn't even catch that much flow or anything. What the hell's the matter with this thing? Yeah, it's just been dead. So much action in Cree. So much action. You know, the problem with these names, who is that? Paco, it's just they're coming off runs here. That's the only problem. You know, you see how you got some yellow and red in the bars here? They're extended. So they could use a breather. Now, some of these names just keep going. But I can't buy, especially the way I'm playing now. I'm looking for the opposite of that. You know, I'm looking for action to come in here so I can sell this rip quick. This, you know, I can't buy this up here. It's just not my style. You know, it's not my style. Amy, you're asking the wrong one. I have a buddy of mine who does that and knows what the hell he's doing. You're asking the wrong one when it comes to it. There is a way you can, any indicator, you can make it change bar color. You're asking the wrong one. I'm lucky I could turn my computer on, Amy. I'm lucky I could turn the computer on. Seriously, I'm ashamed of it. I'm really clueless. But yeah, that's the beauty of TradingView. You could do so much shit on TradingView, so much. And the bar color on some of these things, let me think. I'm trying to think of the indicator. This might be like if you hit in this TD, you got to take a weekend and just play around, with them and see which one you like. But some of these have bar changing color. So you don't even have to rack your brain. You can find one that has it. They got a lot of stuff, indicators, if you want to have fun. TradingView. It's got a lot of good stuff on here. TradingView desktop beta? What do you mean? What's this? What's that mean, a desktop beta? This is not desktop? Desktop application. What the hell does that mean? I don't know what that means. Oh, it's a web app? Shit, I don't know what that means. Oh. Yeah. Ah, all right. Oh, like Thinkorswim. Gotcha. Oh, so it's in beta now? Not out yet? Can we test it out or no? Oh, I gotta hit them up. I'm gonna hit them up and see if I can. Yeah, I like the phone on my phone too. It runs pretty cool. Thank you, Ted. I like TradingView. For charting and stuff. I used to use Thinkorswim and all, but now I like TradingView. That's all I use. It's so clean. And I like my indicators, even though I don't really trade off of them, but I like them. Any other quick names before we wrap it up? All right, so we got a few names we could keep an eye on the rest of the week. Tomorrow we got the Fed. All right, so we got enough excitement there. There probably will be some juice early on, meaning bullish momentum early on, probably till around lunchtime, and then things will go a little bit quiet, and then we're in the hands of the Fed gods. So Penn catches good-looking bet after good-looking bet. There's nothing bad to say about Penn. Good-looking action. And, this DKNG, this is a watch from here. Caught a little bit today, but, if they come after it, not a bad little breather here. You want the spike in Apple tomorrow? I'll see what I can do. Microsoft there, if you like Microsoft, those sweeps were legit. You just might have to sit around a bit like Apple. I don't know how long. But the sweeps were legit. PayPal's a beast. There's nothing I can tell you about PayPal that you don't know already. It's just a beast. TPR. Wow. I did not expect that when I hit that ticker. Holy cow. Holy cow. Solar names caught action. JKS was the best of the action today in solar. You know, usually this is the one that catches the action. CSIQ. Oh, that had a big day too. But I didn't see any flow there today, sweepers. It was JKS. How about this one? Let's end it on this. Remember this guy? ENPH. Wow. Jesus. Some big names. Best Buy. I haven't seen any action in Best Buy, but BBBY, there's been action in. Nice leap 2022 sweep yesterday. BBBY. Yeah, ENPH is nuts. Nuts. Some of these stocks, they just drive me nuts. You know? I wish, if I could have my way, the election reaction would have turned out a little more favorable for me, for us, and we could have picked up a nice round of money for the last month or two of the year, you know? But you know, I've been conservative. I've been conservative. Yeah, what are you gonna do? All in all, I mean, look at this year. In reality, the year outside the market was a menagerie. But market-wise, someone front ran us. You're right, Steve. Someone front ran us, the bastards. The bastards front ran us. But what are you gonna do? We'll see how the rest turns out. But like I said, I'm excited because I think once we do get a gut check, it might not be this. It's going to look different than what we've had rally-wise, but we're just going to see a bigger picture of what's happening now with a lot of these small mid caps. Yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to next year. And again, not just for equity. You can make money in the calls too. You just got to play them differently, you know? And you can't be worried about a wash when you're playing those names in the option. You want to be able to sit nice, buy on dips. So a nice sentiment flush is what we're going to need to set that up. All right, boys and girls, always a pleasure. Stay safe. It's craziness out there, huh? Be careful. Good luck the rest of the week. And the rest of you I see in the room tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.